Welcome gamers to this week's vlog. With just 38 days left now in the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge, time really is running out and it's getting extremely tense. So this week my focus has been on two particular games. One being the hardest game that I've still got left to play, and that's my 9 out of 10 difficulty, The Evil Within on the PS3. And the other game I decided to focus on was to clean up from my backlog, Marvel's Spider-Man. So let's take a look at those and see how I got on. So my only platinum this week was indeed The Evil Within on PS3. Having cleaned up the DLC for the PS4 version of The Evil Within the previous week, I decided to tackle the PS3 version this week, as it's the final game remaining in the 1 to 10 difficulty challenge, being rated at 9 out of 10 from PSN profiles. And having previous experience of the game from my PS4 playthrough a few years ago, I thought it would be interesting to see how the PS3 version would run. And I can confirm that the game at times does suffer from dropped frame rates, and I also experienced a sort of complete game freeze on 3 occasions that required a full reboot of the PS3 as well. Despite these issues though, I don't think it really affected the overall difficulty of the game, as although it can be very challenging, the game is very forgiving in terms of providing plenty of checkpoints, so even if you die a lot while learning the best ways to navigate each of the various encounters, or due to a frame rate drop that ends up making you sort of die, you rarely need to actually replay much after any of the deaths. For anyone that's never played and is not aware, this is a survival horror game and is played from a third person perspective, and it sees you play as Crimson City Police Detective Sergeant Sebastian Castellanos, who along with his colleagues Joseph Oda and Julie Kidman is sent to the Beacon Mental Hospital to investigate the scene of a mass murder. Not long after arriving at the scene, however, following a high-pitched noise which makes you lose consciousness, you awaken to find yourself hanging upside down in a slaughterhouse as a chainsaw-wielding maniac dismembers bodies in front of you. After making your initial escape from him, you realise that you've been thrown into an unreal world of horrors where you're continuously fighting for your survival as you try to navigate around and also work out what the hell is going on. The story throws you into all sorts of different life-threatening scenarios, which makes you question your own sanity as well as reality itself. If you like survival horror games, then this is an absolute must-play game, as for me it's right up there with the best games in the genre, like Resident Evil, and it clearly has taken a lot of inspiration from this popular iconic franchise. If you love survival horror games, but you're simply put off by the difficulty rating of the Platinum, then I still urge you to give the game a go. Although hard, the Platinum is still, I believe, highly accessible to most seasoned trophy hunters. As previously mentioned, the game has many checkpoints, and so even if you die a lot, which you no doubt will, it's still possible to make steady progress. The Platinum can technically be achieved in just 2 full playthroughs, as the hardest difficulty is only unlocked after completing the game on survival difficulty. However, there are also a multiple of other trophies that need to be considered, as if you wish to try and combine them and reduce the number of playthroughs, or if you want to really just focus on one of those specific trophies at a time. For the Platinum, you're required to obtain 100% of all the collectibles in the game, speedrun the game in under 5 hours, complete the game using no upgrades at all, and complete the game on a Kumu mode, which sees you die in 1 hit from anything and is supposedly the hardest difficulty that is what you unlock after completing the game on your first run. When I got the Platinum on the PS4, I did it in 3 separate playthroughs and then used Chapter Select for any outstanding miscellaneous trophies. In an effort to save time, as time is so critical for the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge, for the PS3 version this week, I attempted to try and complete the Platinum in only 2 full playthroughs, and I combined the no upgrade run while attempting the speed run, and then I also combined the Akumu mode with the 100% collectibles run. I very nearly managed to achieve this, however. The first playthrough using no upgrades, which I personally feel is actually more difficult than the Akumu run, I actually completed in 5 hours 1 minute, and so missed out on the speedrun trophy by just 1 minute. Now this meant that I would need to either revert back to a previous save from a few chapters before and try to make up that extra minute, or settle for a third full playthrough on casual mode while also using the very powerful brass knuckles, which you would unlock after you complete Akumu mode. In the end, I decided not to try and waste time replaying final chapters again on the no upgrade run, because the final few chapters could be quite long and very difficult, and if I failed to make up enough time, it would all be for nothing. So instead, I went with the extremely easy third playthrough option, where I could basically just ensure to mop up any of the remaining miscellaneous trophies at the same time while I was speedrunning through the game. As mentioned, Akumu mode means that you will die in one hit from every enemy in the game, but it also means that you will die from any of the variety of booby traps that you come across as well. Most of the traps are easy to disarm, and you will need to do this a lot as they give you one of the most valuable resources in the game, which is trap parts, which you use to make the ammunition for the most useful weapon in the game, the Agony Crossbow. There is, however, one type of booby trap that is very difficult to disarm, and although on lower difficulties, if you're unsuccessful, it just means you take some extra damage. On Akumu mode, a failed attempt to disarm is an instant death. To disarm the bombs, you have to stop a very fast spinning needle in a very small green safe zone, which will appear in a random position on a disarm wheel. You get a lot of these bomb traps in Akumu mode, and the timing comes down to a real split second, and you can expect to die many times trying to disarm them all. You have the option to sneak past and ignore the bombs, or shoot them from a distance to let them explode safely. However, the latter may alert nearby enemies, and both options also mean you will miss out on obtaining the valuable trap parts, which of course means then you'll be short on ammunition, which could make the end game really hard. Personally, I went down the route of making sure to disarm every bomb for the parts, but this did result in a large number of deaths and restarts from the previous checkpoints until I was successful. One particular area, however, in chapter 6 has 8 bombs that you need to be very successful and consecutive on disarming, due to the fact that they're all very close together in a small area with no in-between checkpoints on any of them. Despite the PS3 suffering from some performance issues, I still really enjoyed playing through this version of the game again, and was glad to now have the difficulty part of the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge completed. However, if you've never played The Evil Within, then I highly recommend playing it, but on the PS4 version of the game, which is a lot more stable. So moving on now to the backlog game I busted this week, Marvel's Spider-Man on the PS4. Having completed the main game and the main DLCs back in May 2023, I still had the DLC Trophy Pack 1 to complete, which was to complete the game on New Game Plus and complete the game on Ultimate Difficulty, which can be combined into one playthrough. There isn't really anything I can say about this game that's not already been said. With over 1 million game owners and over 440,000 people having the Platinum already, according to PSN profiles, it's extremely likely that the majority of people watching this video have at least tried this iconic game from Insomniac. If you are someone that has yet to play and experience Marvel's Spider-Man, then please do let me know in the comments if there's a specific reason you've not already done so. Set in a third-person perspective in an extremely detailed and amazing recreation of New York's Manhattan, you mainly play as the friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man, but for a few missions you will also take control of Mary Jane Watson and Miles Morales. You begin the game by taking down and capturing Kingpin Wilson Fisk. This results in a power vacuum where a masked gang known as the Demons attempt to take control while seeking something known as Devil's Breath. Spider-Man assists the police by helping them to complete the city and get it under control. But as the story develops, you will also battle against other classic characters from Marvel's roster of villains, with Dr. Octopus, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture and Electro all featuring. Since I was a kid, Spider-Man has always been my most favourite superhero, and for me, there are not many things in gaming better than swinging through the streets of Manhattan as the iconic web slinger. I really loved playing through this fantastic game again, and it's now another game ticked off the backlog for the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge. So as usual, let's now take a quick look at my PSN Profiles trophy log to show you all the trophies I've earned this week. Starting from last weekend, where I'd started up on The Evil Within. I was continually playing that through this week, as it's a pretty long game and obviously difficult. But one of the days I was probably quite far off from earning the next trophy. So I booted up and got one trophy in Lego Marvel game for the Vita. And that was essentially just to keep the daily streak alive. Then continued with The Evil Within to make sure that I could secure that platinum. After completing that, I had another couple of trophies on the Lego Marvel sort of Avengers game on the Vita, just to make sure that streak was being kept alive. And then I moved on to Marvel's Spider-Man, and I then cleaned up the full playthrough on New Game Plus Ultimate Difficulty to get those final 2 trophies I needed for the 100% and clear it up from the backlog completely. As you can see, I'm sitting at 329 platinums, which is essentially 80 for the year so far, and my completion percentage is up to 85.17. But let's have a very quick skim over the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge stats and see where I'm at. So looking at the summary page of my Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge tracking spreadsheet, which there's a link in the description if you want to take a look at this yourself at your own leisure and in a bit more detail. I'm just going to go over the very high level summary today, but that's 80 platinum so far out of the 100 that I need. 501 gold has now mean I completed, and I only needed the 500. For the silver, I'm on 696 out of the 750. For the bronze, I'm on 1,420 out of the 1,500 that was necessary. For the trophy streak, it's now up to 327 days. So yes, only 38 days to go. For the game name and platinum name alphabet, so that's 23 and 22 out of the 27. Just a few letters remaining on each. The game series was completed a while ago, so that's all 5 of those done. The difficulty list was what I completed this week, so that is the 1 to 10 difficulty, all now done thanks to completing the platinum on The Evil Within for the PS3 this week. The increase our completion rate by 10% over the year. I'm up to 7.77%, so I'm getting close on that now. Hopefully, as I'm concentrating on backlog games, that's going to keep going up over these next few weeks, so I can be well clear of that 10% increase before the end of the year. For the console Grand Slam, we've got 6 out of the 11. I've still got some of the peripherals like the VR to do. And for the genre and theme list, I've got 42 out of the 44. There's just 2 left, which I'm going to try and concentrate on very soon. For the games on my backlog, which I've been focusing on quite a lot these last few weeks, I'm up to 37 out of the 50, and 3 of those are going to be DLC cleanups, with the others being platinum trophies as well. For the 100% on 10 games with no platinum, I've completed that with all 10. The game lengths, so the 1 hour to 100 hour in units of 10, and you can only count a game if it had a maximum of 5% completion from the backlog, and essentially I've got 6 out of the 10 different groups already done. The ultra rare platinums, I've actually gone way above what I was expecting, so I was only needed 5 ultra rare platinums, and I've actually got 9 so far this year. And for the ultra rare trophies, I'm at 75 out of 100 so far. The sort of special challenges, I've only got the oldest game in my backlog to complete and a co-op only game to complete, so I need to factor those in and try and get those done soon. And for the special dates, you can see at the bottom here we've got the Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, and those 2 are the ones where I'm just going to start prepping them now, because Thanksgiving is obviously this week, so I don't have long to get that game all set up and ready. So this week's vlog is going to be a little bit shorter, as I've really got to get cracking with sort of playing more of these games and trying to do as much as I can, as we're sort of really running short of time. So that's it for another week's vlog, and I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to these gaming legends you can currently see on screen, who are my Patreon supporters. And if you're interested in joining my Discord community, then please do follow the link down in the description for my Patreon. Also, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated, and I do still love reading all of your comments, so please let me know what games you're playing, what platinums you've been earning, and also, do you think I'm going to be able to complete this challenge, or do you think I'm going to fall a bit short? Be interested to hear what people's thoughts are. With all that being said, please enjoy your games, take care, and look after yourselves.